what's gonna make you understand what the shock of the hour is. Now that we know who the power is. Insurmountable stress, children with gray hair, and mothers leave their newborns right there. No cure, failed suicide. No food, vegetation died. You voted, politicians lied. So used to the pain, don't nobody cry. She loved women, he loved God. This is what it sound like. When doves cry, it don't snow in the winter, it snow in the spring. We rather party and blow green. Breastfeeding who? She tying the tubes. What's really in the formula of baby food? You deserted the children.
No one can make an intelligent decision without being properly informed. This is why this world wants to control the media. This is why media hype can take you up, take you down. So you don't know anymore who's really good, because the media can make a wicked man look good and make a good man look evil. That is why. I'm like Saddam, keeping my eye on Clinton, watching each move he makes, cause every slither he takes sort of reminds.
Good evening, Abarigani, peace, Hotep, Assalamu alaikum. This is your man, Brother Herman Muhammad, and you are watching a special New Year's holiday edition of the Final Call News Hour. The Final Call News Hour is the partner of the Final Call newspaper, and you can get the digital edition of the Final Call newspaper if you live in a spot where there's no FOI. You can get a digital edition at finalcalldigital.com, and I encourage each and every one of you to pick up the latest and the greatest Final Call newspaper. Again, my name is Herman Muhammad. The Final Call newspaper is the communications organ of the Nation of Islam. It is the most widely circulated Black-owned and operated publication in the world. Again, I'm Herman Muhammad. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. Whatever you're choosing to celebrate during this season, we had to pop in and do one more show before the end of the year. It's good to see you, Sister Annabelle, Sister Marie, Brother Joseph Edwards, Salam Alaikum, Brother Michael, Salam Alaikum, Miss Davis, Travis Mama, good to see you, ma'am. This evening, we're coming out of the latest edition of the Final Call. We're actually going to cover two editions. I want to talk about 2020 and who's your hero, and I'll get to that in a minute. But let me show you the paper first. The current edition, of course, deals with the new year, and you can pick that up at Supreme Style Barbershop. It's 2020. What did it mean to Black America? And look back at the year that was and the impact that it had. Coverage begins on page 2. The other edition of the Final Call newspaper that we want to deal with is this one. It's the one that was previous to this one. It's Servant, Scholar, Soldier, honoring Minister Abdul Allah Muhammad for his life's work and contribution to the Nation of Islam and sacrifices in the Black struggle for freedom, justice, and equality. And again, that coverage begins on page 2. Sister Marisha Muhammad, Salam Alaikum. I wanted to talk about, we could talk about 2020, And if you all, you're welcome to play, make any comments, and I'll definitely read them. 2020's been a beast. It's been a monster. COVID-19 is ravaging. We just lost, man, we done lost so many this year. Kobe, man, we lost our great brother Abdul Allah, who that edition of the Final Call is about, and we definitely want to talk about him. A lot of stuff's been going on in 2020. 2020 has been a monster. The whole Justice for Breonna Taylor movement, George Floyd, the unrest, of course, the COVID-19 virus, the vaccines that they are wanting you to take. Wa alaikum salam, brother Hashim, Redeemed Hakeem, my brother. Chime on in, brother Hashim. Yeah, 2020 has been a monster, man. But what I wanted to talk about, you know, because we got that cover. And if you're watching, let's get some thumbs up. Let's get some hearts. If you're watching on YouTube, let's get some likes or some dislikes. I don't care. Just let me know you in the room. But this edition right here, this is what I want to talk about. Peace to the God, Michael Muhammad. I want to talk about servant, scholar, soldier, honoring Minister Abdul Allah Muhammad for his life's work and contribution to the nation of Islam and sacrifices in the black struggle for freedom, justice, and equality. Brother Ansar L, peace to the God. I want to talk about Brother Abdul Allah. And many of you, I'm sure, don't even know who Brother Abdul Allah Muhammad is or was. I'm going to say is because a brother with that reputation in the nation of Islam, I'm going to say that his work and what he's done for the cause of freedom, justice, and equality will never die. Now, I put 2020, who is your hero? Because many of you, like I said, don't know who Brother Abdul Allah Muhammad is. And the question should be, why not? Why don't you know who Brother Abdul Allah is? You don't know what Brother Abdul Allah did. You don't know who Brother Abdul Allah is. But as I mentioned, the Final Call newspaper is the most widely circulated black-owned and operated publication in the world. Peace, Brother Roy. That's the guy. Assalamu alaikum, brother. This is the most widely circulated black-owned and operated newspaper on earth. Not just in the country, but on earth. Brother Charles, peace. On earth, man. So why would the publisher of peace, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, put Brother Abdul Allah Muhammad on the cover? Wa alaikum salam, Brother Daniel. Sister Fatima, peace. Why would the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan put this black man who many of us, I'm sure, don't know, but those of us in the Nation of Islam certainly should know, and many of us who've been around for any period of time, we definitely know who Brother Abdul Allah Muhammad is. So I asked the question, 2020, who's your hero? Because Brother Abdul Allah Muhammad is one of our heroes. And I'm just read to you a little bit about, well, let me just tell you a little bit about Brother Abdul Allah. Brother Abdul Allah came into the Nation of Islam in 1957. He's a beautiful young brother, and I'll read a little bit about him. Brother Bates, peace, brother, peace. Brother Abdul Allah, let me just start this article. And this article begins on page 2 of this edition of the Final Call newspaper, and you definitely need to get this edition. The world and the Nation of Islam lost a great and significant one with the passing of Minister Abdul Allah Muhammad, formerly known as John Shabazz, who departed this life in mid-December in Atlanta, Georgia, after battling long-time health challenges. He was 89 years old. Born during the Great Depression on January 6, 1931 in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, he grew up in the St. Louis, Missouri. There's no doubt that he was a multi-talented individual considering his accomplishments and achievements. He graduated high school at the age of 15, attending Howard University on a full academic scholarship at age 16. In his years of service to the Nation of Islam, he served as a minister in major cities including Los Angeles, Atlanta, New York, and Chicago. He also served as a Nation of Islam regional minister and educator. In 1957, he accepted the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in Los Angeles, coming into the nation after hearing Malcolm X. By 1959, he was the minister of Muhammad Temple number 27 in Los Angeles, proving himself to be effective and trusted. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad appointed him West Coast regional minister in 1960. A proficient teacher, he became popularly known as Islam John, with one of the fastest growing temples in the nation. During his tenure in Los Angeles, the temple and the nation underwent one of its major tests on April 27, 1962, when attacked by the Los Angeles Police Department. In the unprovoked assault, Temple Secretary Ronald T.X. Stokes was brutally killed while his hands were raised. Other Muslims were shot and some permanently injured. All of the men were unarmed as the Nation of Islam teaching. When nearly 100 police officers swooped on to the Muslims in the dark of the night with the intent on killing believers and curtailing the rise of Islam. After shooting down 6 and killing 1, the officer who pulled the trigger boasted he was trying to kill them all. Okay, so that's a little bit about Brother Abdul Allah Muhammad, formerly known as Brother John Shabazz. And Brother Daniel is absolutely right. He wrote the beautiful column 1155 in the Final Call newspaper. But I'm bringing up Brother Abdul Allah and asking the question, who is your hero? Because many of us don't know for what Brother John Shabazz or Brother Abdul Allah, a minister in the Nation of Islam, a servant, scholar, and soldier, did on behalf of black people. And the reason we don't know what Brother Abdul Allah did on behalf of black people is because we are being fed history by our open enemy. Are y'all listening? We are being fed history by our open enemy. And they don't desire that we know about anyone who is truly sacrificing on our behalf. Now, I'm making this point, man, because 2020 was a monster. 2021, God only knows what it holds, right? God only knows what 2021 holds. But the Nation of Islam, who I am attempting to represent in this city, and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who I am attempting to represent in this city, is all about self-determination. It's all about determining who our own heroes are. See, we don't know Brother John Shabazz. We don't know Brother Abdul Allah. But we should. Because the Nation of Islam, since its inception in 1930, has always represented the plight of black and oppressed people. Talk black to me. I mean, we could think that the Nation of Islam is some foreign entity, right? Because we say we're the Nation of Islam. But we have to understand that every member of the Nation of Islam is a member of our own beautiful black family. If you know anybody from the Nation of Islam, they from the same place you from. Peace to the Queen, Sister Ladios Muhammad. If you know anybody in the Nation of Islam, they not from no different country. They from right here in the hills of North America. And so when these brothers sacrifice, when you see the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, let me give you a shot of our beloved minister. When you see the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, this is a man who has been laboring for the cause of black people, not just the cause of Islam, which is the cause of black people, but he has been laboring on your and my behalf since 1955. Did you guys hear me? Since 1955. It's 2020, about to be 2021. That's 65 going on 66 years, man. He's been laboring. He's been giving, he's been giving his life for you and I. Man, I got to give you a shot again, man. I'm talking about my brother, our beautiful brother, Brother Abdul Allah Muhammad. Servant, scholar, soldier, and why he should be your and my hero. We can't allow the enemy to decide who our heroes are. That's where I'm coming from. That's where I'm at with this. That's where I'm at with this. We can't decide we can't allow the enemy to decide who our heroes are. When you think of black heroes, who do you think of? Maybe it's Malcolm X. Maybe for many of us, of course, it's Dr. Martin Luther King. Right? Maybe it's, I don't know, who's our hero? Is it Jesse Jackson? It can't be Jesse Jackson. No disrespect. No disrespect. Who's our hero? Let's roll with Dr. King. And I just want to cite this as an example, because that's one of the black people who, brothers in the struggle who have fought on our behalf, who the enemy feels like it's safe for him to be our hero. Is that right? It's safe for Dr. Martin Luther King. It's all right. They could choose a Dr. Martin Luther King because Dr. King had a dream. And I have to be perfectly honest with you. Growing up in the Nation of Islam, once I first came into the knowledge, man, I wasn't the biggest Dr. King fan. If you were to put Dr. Martin Luther King up against Malcolm X, man, I'm gonna take Malcolm every time, because his message, the message of, the enemy sells us by any means necessary. I never really subscribed to that. But the message of fighting with those who fight with you, defending yourself, self-determination that Malcolm X brought, I was with that. And the message of loving your enemy and, I have a dream, and I have a dream of little white boys, and yeah, you're right, Brother Daniel. They reduce them to a slogan. That message of, little black boys and little white girls holding hands together, and that didn't resonate with me. So I had a problem with Dr. King. I thought that Dr. King, that it was more of a softer, punctified message, to be quite honest. But, as I grew in understanding of Dr. King, I fell more in love with him. And I could accept him as a hero, but not for the the I Have a Dream type of thing. I was more in the lines of the Dr. King in 1968, who, after reflecting, made a speech where he said that he felt like he was integrating his people into a burning house. I was more about the Dr. King as a hero who met with the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad in 1966. And after that, he started demonstrating on behalf of the poor. He started protesting against the war in Vietnam. He started interjecting himself into the policy of the United States of America, saying that black people shouldn't be fighting in Vietnam. That was my hero. But that old school, that 1963 Dr. King, he didn't resonate with me. And interestingly enough, the enemy never talks about, you right, Brother Daniel, the 1966 Dr. Martin Luther King. They never talk about the 1968 Dr. Martin Luther King. They always talk about the I Have a Dream Dr. King, when Dr. King evolved past that. So, who's your hero? Who's your hero? Because Brother Abdul Allah, who also, during his time in the Nation of Islam, wrote an incredible article in the Final Call newspaper called 1155. Incredible article, 1155. And it's compiled, and I don't know if the Nation of Islam is selling this collaboration. I would check at store.finalcall.com and see if they have this. But if not, I know it's at Amazon. But I would definitely check the Nation of Islam's store.finalcall.com first before I check with Amazon. But Brother Abdul Allah was famous for giving short lectures that were very powerful. And his article was always a very quick read, but just heavy in content. So, may Allah be pleased with our brother Minister Abdul Allah Muhammad. But I wanted to talk about just briefly why he's such a hero, why he's such a national treasure, and why you and I, black people, oppressed people throughout the world, because that's who we are. You know, as long as we've been here, we've been oppressed. Oh, praise be to Allah, Brother Daniel. His daughter's selling those. Praise be to Allah. The Nation of Islam is of course, a military organization with regards to our structure. And so, being the minister in Los Angeles in 1962, when the enemies attacked our mosque, many of you know that as members of the Nation of Islam, we don't carry any weapons. We don't carry any pistols, right? We don't carry so much as a penknife, according to the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So the police, when they attacked the mosque, they knew this. And this demon police officer who said that he wanted to kill all the Muslims, and they actually shot 7 Muslims and 1 brother died, Brother Ronald T.X. Stokes, in 1962. You have to understand that during this time, man, the nation was gaining a lot of popularity. And the nation was always fighting on behalf of black people. But I just want to read a little bit of this article that appears on page 2, dealing with that night when the mosque was attacked and what Brother Abdul Allah, then known as John Shabazz, and the believers of Muhammad Mosque number 27 were going through. And this article is written by Sister Nisa Islam Muhammad. If you're coming into the room, give me some hearts, give me some likes, give me some some shares. If we're on YouTube, let me get some likes or some dislikes. I don't care. Let's share, let's subscribe, let's pass this pertinent information on to our people. But on April 27, 1962, and the article is entitled A Fateful Night in Los Angeles and Fearless Servant, and it's written by Sister Nisa Islam Muhammad. April 27, 1962 was a Friday night. As usual, the Fruit of Islam, men in the Nation of Islam, were at Temple number 27 in Los Angeles for the Friday night meeting. One of the Muslim brothers had a dry cleaning business, and many of the men brought their suits and wives' garments to him each week to have them cleaned. What wasn't unusual that night was when Los Angeles patrolman Frank Tomlinson and Stanley Kinsick pulled up behind Monroe X. Jones and Fred X. Jingles as they unloaded suits from their car. The police must have thought we were stealing clothes. Nuri Muhammad, then known as Roosevelt X. Walker, told the Final Call. They started beating one of the brothers as I walked out of the mosque. It was on after that. We defended ourselves and the police radioed for help. We were trying to save ourselves and more police came. Our regional secretary, Ronald X. Stokes, was shot and killed right in front of me. His hands were raised and the police still shot him. Court records show that LAPD Officer Donald Weiss testified before an all-white coroner's jury that Mr. Stokes came towards me chanting. He put his hands out. I thought he was going to choke me. The local newspapers called it a gun battle between the black Muslims and the police. The police, however, were the only ones with guns. They attacked us and we had to fight back. The police swarmed into the mosque where the fight continued. It would have kept going, but an officer told us to stop, and he had a gun pointed at our minister's head, John Shabazz. When our minister then said to stop, we stopped. Kareem Muhammad, then Troy X. Augustine, told the Final Call. So this is the real. I mean, this is why this brother's my hero, man. And this is why this brother should be your hero as well. Because look what the newspaper said. Gun battle between black Muslims and the police. However, I just told you that we don't carry weapons at all. And the police have they've been infiltrating the Nation of Islam since the Nation of Islam has been in existence. You understand what I'm saying? They've infiltrated the nation since we've been in existence. So they know we didn't have guns. And they know that we're not on no turn the other cheek type of teaching. So when they accosted the brother, of course the Muslims fought back. But this brother John Shabazz, then, but now known as Brother Abdul Allah, the minister of that mosque, he's the one who stopped all the violence from continuing. They had a gun pointed at his head, but he didn't tell the brothers to stop to save his own life. He told the brothers to stop to save their lives, so that no other Muslims would be killed or no other Muslims would be hurt. One brother had already been murdered. Brother Ronald T. X. Stokes, the mosque secretary. But we don't understand this history, right? Most of us don't know this history. Most of us, this is brand new, because the devil or the enemy doesn't tell us our own history. In fact, Sun Tzu said it in The Art of War that the conqueror always is the one who writes the history. And so, even though the Nation of Islam stands amongst all of those black organizations that the enemy silenced and put to death forever, when they write the history, they don't tell it in a favorable manner with regards to the nation. In fact, the opposite is true. This is why they said that the black Muslims and the police had a gun battle when the police is the only ones who ever had the guns. But this is what I'm trying to get over, family, is that as we go forward, while the world is falling down around us, and if you all haven't noticed, we are in the midst of the fall of America. COVID is ravaging this country and is ravaging the world and is an instrument of Allah that is helping to destroy this country. I just gotta keep it 100. I gotta keep it 100, and that's not something that I'm saying for myself. That's something that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan told us during his historic message during on July 4th. COVID is a instrument that God is using to bring our enemies and the world's enemies and his enemies to naught. And even though they've come up with these vaccines, which the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan told us you should not take. Don't take that vaccine. Do not take their vaccines. Even though they've come up with these vaccines and they're acting as though this is the answer, don't take those vaccines. Work on your own immunity by getting you some vitamin D, some vitamin C. Go out and bathe in the sun. Boost your own immunity by whatever means that you need to, but do not take these vaccines. Peace, Sister Melodies. Good to see you. But we're coming out of, I'm talking about this wonderful final call right here. I got to tell y'all, because this is what this is all about. Servant, scholar, soldier, who's your hero? Honoring Minister Abdul Allah Muhammad. Also, we're talking about 2020, what it brought, what we're looking forward to in 2021, the current edition. 2020, what did it mean to Black America? Pick those up, and you can come right to Supreme Style Barbers, located at 7520 East Colfax Avenue, and grab one of them. But if you can't, or if you're quarantined, which I can dig it, make sure that you go to finalcalldigital.com and pick up the latest edition of the Final Call newspaper. These newspapers are full of very pertinent and powerful information, and you should definitely pick them up and read up on about Brother Abdul Allah Muhammad. There's an article in this article by Brother J.A. Salam talking about the government targeting black militia leaders and groups. They arrested that brother who calls himself Grandmaster J, the leader of the NFAC, the Not Effing Around Coalition. And, things are heating up. As you also know, there's an editorial in the latest Final Call newspaper by our brother Nabah Muhammad about the bombing that took place on Christmas. The new Unabomber. What's his name? I can't even think of his name. You know what I'm talking about, the white boy. But yeah, man, pick up these latest editions of the Final Call because they're packed full of information that is pertinent and that you all should have and you all should be familiar with, and you all should be informing yourself, because the enemy is not going to inform us, family. The enemy is not going to give us the correct information ever. So pick up these latest editions of the Final Call newspaper. I just wanted to ask y'all who your heroes are. I just wanted to point out the sacrifices of our brother Abdul Allah Muhammad. And there's so many more that you could read about and that you could learn about in the Nation of Islam. But the most important message that I wanted to get across is that the Nation of Islam is you. Even if you're not in the Nation of Islam, I'm telling you today, from the depth of my heart, that we are you. That we come from the same places that you come from. We went to school together. We went to church together. We are working in the community with you. You are the Nation of Islam, and we are you. The Nation of Islam encompasses all 4,400,000,000 of our people on the planet. Period. Islam simply means, and I gotta say this, Islam literally means peace. Islam means submission to do the will of God. We are you. If you desire to be a person who obeys the will of God, then you're practicing Islam. Gotta tell y'all, we gotta get rid of the division, man, and we gotta come together and begin that process, like we said, of self-determination. At the end of the day, we have to choose our own heroes. We cannot allow the enemy to choose our heroes for us. Right now, they're saying they're choosing our heroes, and they're saying our heroes are medical workers, right? Because they're sacrificing so much. They're working so hard during this time of COVID-19. And I agree, they are heroes. But at the same time, they want to use these heroes to administer a vaccine that's going to ultimately be your and my demise. So don't fall for the okie doke, fam. Don't fall for the okie doke. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan already gave us guidance with regards to what we should do with in regards to these vaccines. And that is, we need to thoroughly vet anything that we put into our bodies. And we need to thoroughly vet those things with our own doctors, our own scientists, our own virologists, our own epidemiologists, our own everything, because we cannot trust a people who have done so much ill to our people. Can't do it, y'all. Can't do it. Pick up this Final Call. Pick it up. Pick it up and read it. Servant, Scholar, Soldier, Brother Abdul Allah. And definitely pick up the current edition, 2020, and realize that we got to map out a future for ourselves, fam. That's what we got to do. We got to map out a future for ourselves. Yeah. That's where we at. That's where we at. So who's your hero? Who is your hero? We got Brother Abdul Allah. Who do we like? Who are we choosing for ourselves? Who are we choosing to teach our children about the sacrifices that they made? Who? Who is it? That's a good question, right? Because that's something that we really have to consider. It's time for the black man to do for self in every way. America is falling. What are we going to do to pick ourselves up? What are we going to do to survive as this nation falls apart? Think it over. Think it over. What are we going to do? That's the question. What are we going to do economically? What are we going to do politically? Because we're going from one end of the spectrum to another. And I don't want to get off on a tangent, but all of this is related. See, Donald Trump, the orange man, he acted as though COVID-19 didn't exist. And he's headed out of office, and now Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are coming into office. And where Donald Trump took a totally hands-off approach to COVID-19 and the administration of the vaccines, now Joe Biden has pledged that he wants to have 100 million doses administered within his first 100 days. Now you can see, now you might have voted for this dude, but if he's trying to infect our people with this vaccine, yeah, I think I said that right too. Infect our people by administering this vaccine, he's not your friend either. None of these people are our friends, brothers and sisters. None of them. So we got to choose, man, who our hero is. Who our hero is in 2020, who our heroes are in 2021. And look, I got a candidate for you. This is my hero right here. I keep showing him. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And he's already given us guidance as to what we should and what we should not do. So do not take the vaccines. Do not think that Joe Biden and Bill Gates and Dr. Fauci and Moncef Slaoui have your best interests at heart. I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna get off of it since this came up, and Allah brought it up in my mind. Right? Y'all didn't bring it up, but Allah brought it up in my mind. This operation with regards to vaccines is headed up by Trump's COVID-19 czar, whose name is Moncef Slaoui. Are you all familiar with Moncef Slaoui? Probably not. Let me give you a picture of Moncef Slaoui. Okay, so Moncef Slaoui is the Operation Warp Speed medical chief. He is the scientist, and he is a scientist who helped to galvanize all of the rest of these drug companies, and there are 6 of them, to come up with your COVID-19 vaccines. Of course, we know that 2 of them are being given in America, one by Pfizer and the other by Moderna. And we could say a lot about these vaccines and the way that they're making them and the technology that's behind them. But I want to tell you about Moncef Slaoui. Moncef Slaoui is a scientist who used to work for GlaxoSmithKline, which is a huge pharmaceutical company. And Moncef Slaoui has something along the lines of $10 million worth of stock in GlaxoSmithKline. $10 million worth of stock. Now, if you all aren't familiar with the market, the stock market, if I got $10 million worth of stocks multiply, right, according to the way that the market goes. And if you have, like, say for instance, if you got you buy stock on the ground level and then the stock price shoots way up, it increases your income substantially. Now, I'm telling you that Monsef Salawi, who is the medical chief of Operation Warp Speed, appointed by your president, Donald J. Trump, has $10 million worth of stock in a drug company that is producing your vaccine. Brother Jamie, assalamu alaikum. 10 million. And the stocks that or the money that's going to be produced by the vaccines is, on a low estimate, $100 billion. Yes, I said that correctly. $100 billion they're projected to make on these vaccines. Now, you would think that this is a conflict of interest, which of course it is. But look at how your enemies made this work. They approved Monsef Salawi keeping his stock by giving him a menial salary as a contractor. So it says, Chief of White House's Operation Warp Speed vaccine effort can keep investing in pharma firms under IG ruling. So they allowed him to keep his stock by saying he's not a government employee, he's a contractor. And so he could profit off of making sure that all of these vaccines are injected into the American people's unsuspecting arms. But I digress. I just wanted to make that point, just to show you all how that there's some wickedness that's jumping off with regards to this vaccine. There's some wickedness whenever the enemy is involved. These people aren't your heroes, man. They're not on your side. Whether it be Donald Trump or Joe Biden or our sister Kamala Harris, they're not on your side. They're not. I'm sorry. They're not. But anyway, pick up the latest edition of the Final Call newspaper. We got one Servant Soldier Scholar. We got another one, the current edition, 2020. Pick them up at, if you can't get them from me or one of the brothers in the streets, pick them up digitally at finalcalldigital.com. Shameless plug before I get out of here, and thank you all for joining. The message is choose your hero. Choose your hero. What did I want to say? To find out what we have going on locally, go to noidenver.org, right? Also support your brother. I gotta plug myself. Support your brother. Visit www.astar2.com and click on the link for my new ebook or paperback edition, How to Get Rich in the Barber Cosmetology Game Handbook. That's written by yours truly. Check them out. Buy black, support black. In our efforts to be free, family, I gotta say this too, and then I'm gonna let you go. And thank you all for tuning in. In our efforts to be free, The other thing that we got to do, family, the other thing that we got to do, because the world is falling apart, and you got to know this, especially during COVID-19. But I got to say this. I got to say this to my brothers. I got to say this to my sisters. And I'm going to say this to the brothers first. I'm going to say this to the brothers first. Man, you know, there's all sorts of revolutionary acts that we could commit and that we can perform in order to help make our people free. One of them is selling a Final Call newspaper, buying the Final Call newspaper, reading the Final Call newspaper, telling somebody about the information that you find in the Final Call newspaper. That's a revolutionary act. Picking your brother up, you know what I'm saying? Feeding someone when they're hungry, helping your fellow brother or sister when they're in a situation where they need help. That's a revolutionary act. Starting a black business and employing your own, that's a revolutionary act. But brothers, I have to say that the most revolutionary act that we could commit right now is find ourselves a beautiful black woman. Marry that woman. Make some beautiful black children, a beautiful black family, and we'll build a beautiful black nation. That's the most revolutionary thing that you could do. I'm going to get out of here, Miss Pat. I see you. Good to see you, ma'am. Peace, peace, peace. I'm going to get out of here and I'm going to say, stay black, stay strong. And remember, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. Pick up the latest Final Call. Peace, fam. We out.